Now we get an update on the role climate change is or is not playing on Hurricane Ian. Our next guest is the author of Inconvenient Facts and is an expert reviewer for the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Joining us now is geologist Greggory Rייטסטון, who's the executive director of the CO2 Coalition. So glad you can make it on the show today, Greggory.
Thank you for having me.
Now, many media companies have attributed this near Category 5 Hurricane Ian as a product of climate change. Is there any data to suggest warmer oceans lead to more severe hurricanes?
There is not. In fact, there's a good argument that can be made that warmer temperatures lead to more wind shear, which actually cuts down on the number of hurricanes. There's more evidence of that than the other. And the fellow at the NOAA, their top hurricane expert is a gentleman by the name of, now you'll love this name, he's a hurricane expert, and his last name is Christopher Landsea. It's almost as good as a geologist named Rייטסטון. So, but Christopher Landsea's concluded there might be some increase due to warming oceans. He puts it at 1% increase in wind speed. Well, I don't think if Hurricane Ian came on shore, you could tell the difference between 153 and 152 miles per hour. It's so small you can't even measure that.
Seems like a very minute change. Now, what is happening to the Earth's climate in terms of temperature, and how much of that is caused by man?
Well, we can't attribute, we don't know how much is by CO2 and how much is by man. We've warmed about a little less than 1 degree Celsius since 1900. That's not too alarming to me, and that's all the warming we've seen. But we've seen those type of increases going back through time. In fact, if we go back the last 10,000 years, there were 9 other warming trends similar to what we are today, and 5 of those 9 had higher rates of warming than we saw in the 20th century. So to conclude that increasing CO2 is driving this warming is it's just not supported by the data. We do agree that CO2 is a greenhouse gas and has some warming influence, but we see it as being completely overestimated by the IPCC and the climate industrial complex. Some of our experts here put the warming effect with a doubling of CO2 at around 0.8 of a degree Celsius. So if we increase from 400 to 800 parts per million, we're at 400 now, we would see 0.8 of a degree of warming based on that carbon dioxide. And that's not very alarming to me. And it would take us some 150 or so years to get to that doubling of CO2.